All right, I'd like to call this meeting of the West Alsos Milwaukee School Board to order. Suzette, would you please call the roll?
Sure. Mr. Becker.
Here.
Mr. Keller.
Here.
Mrs. Carr. Here. Mr. Sickich.
Present.
Mr. Burns.
Present.
Mrs. Kaiser. Here. Ms. Steele. Here. Mrs. Lee. Here. President Lee.
Here. All right, so today we have some school showcases. So I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Brosh to lead us into those.
All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you, families, for coming out and bringing your incredible young scholars here to teach us all about their different learning that they've been having. So our first school that we're going to be learning from is Horace Mann. So also shout out to Miss Klein and Mr. Helrung for really guiding their students all this year and then allowing us to learn from them for this board meeting. So I'm going to turn it over to you all to take it away. Remember, we have about 30 minutes in total, so about 15 minutes to present and share, and then our board is going to ask you all questions, okay? So we'll have some time for questions afterwards. So take it away, Horace Mann.
So this is our Civil War Museum. It's actually, the actual museum is coming out this Thursday. So they're just bringing 4 of the exhibits. We have about 18 in total. So we're really excited about it. We've been putting in a lot of work and share 4 examples.
Are you 5th grade?
Oh, this is 5th.
Yeah. I did a correct answer. Gotta really talk loud.
Really loud.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It was not a super path. It was a super path for runners like to experience the The Underground Railroad was made up of slave houses where people wanted to conduct the house for the men of slave, the food, safety, and safety. Some famous conductors were Harriet Butler and John Brown. It was very dangerous to hold the runaway slaves and conductors while on the Underground Railroad. About 100,000 slaves used the Underground Railroad to find them. This one is one of the land of peace actually used for running place on the account. It would be about Canada and Louisiana. It was 104,000 miles and 31. This one is a This is a Thomas and Hale slave signed by J. Hughes. This is and it was the conductors are helping enslaved people become free. This is just telling me about what you This is just another map of the Underground Railroad. This is the Battle of Bull Run. The Battle of Bull Run was one of the first official battles that had started the Civil War that lasted for 4 years, 1861 till 1865. These are battle plans for the first Battle of Bull Run. This was drawn by Captain Porter King of the 4th Alabama Regiment, July 18th to the 21st of 1861. The red are the Confederates, the South, who wanted to keep slavery, and the blue is the Union, who wanted to end slavery. And this is facts on the Battle of Bull Run. This is how one of the lieutenant generals got the nickname Stonewall Jackson. These are paintings. This is like more of an accurate painting, while this painting is someone from the South or the Confederate side making fun of the Union for retreating, because the Confederate had broken through their line, which made the Union retreat. This is a Confederate soldier's diary. To read it, you have to look here. This one goes with this one, and that one goes with that one. It's a Confederate soldier's diary. And then these are more facts on the battle. And this is a British newspaper. Correspondent describes the lead up to the first Battle of Bull Run. Morning Post, that was made in England. UK. This is a newspaper, like story, and then death toll, and then like describing the battle.
This is the Battle of Antietam of the Emancipation Proclamation.
Boys, can you scooch over just so we can see it? Thank you.
The Battle of Antietam took place near Antietam Creek outside of Sharpsburg, Maryland, on September 17, 1862. It was the bloodiest one-day battle in American history. Robert E. Lee and the Confederate Army invaded Maryland. General George McClellan and his army fought and stopped them. The battle took place in three parts. The first part was Miller's cornfield and the Westwoods.
The second part was at the Sunken Road, which was called the Bloody Lane after the battle because so many people died there. The third part of the battle took place on a bridge over Antietam Creek, which was called Burnside Bridge after the battle, because General Ambrose Burnside didn't let the Confederate troops cross the bridge. This right here is the Special Order 191. It was Robert E. Lee's secret invasion plans before the Battle of Antietam. The Union Army found the secret plans at a farm before the Battle of Antietam. Knowing these plans helped the Union win the battle. These right here, this is the real thing of the
Emancipation Proclamation.
and it declared that all slaves within the Confederate States are free. This is the first page of it, and that's the end, and then that.
This is one of the soldiers' memory. James Hope drew these, and these are 2 days after the war. This is the destroyed mama farm. It's right here, and it was on fire. This one is the roulette farm. It's right here in the battlefield, and this is one is the Dunker Church. Right. This one is Abraham Lincoln after the Battle of Antietam, and this one is Abraham Lincoln and General George McClellan after the Battle of Antietam, and Abraham Lincoln was firing George McClellan because he could have like stopped the Civil War sooner, but he decided he could have made the Battle of Antietam last longer, but he ended it sooner.
Our exhibit is about a soldier's life.
Don't be afraid to use the microphone. There's a microphone right there.
Talk real loud.
Talk into that and then we can all hear you.
Our exhibit is about a soldier's life. Being a soldier in the Civil War is very hard. They would eat salted pork, beans, rice, and hardtack. Hardtack is dried hard bread. And they would also drink coffee. Every day, the soldiers would have to carry their gear. Their gear included clothes, dishes, canteen, rifle ammunition, and a blanket. soldiers were not fight and soldiers would fight in very dangerous battles with little food or water and sleep. They would march in extreme weather and temperatures. And if you were lucky, that was if you were lucky enough not to get injured or taken prisoner.
Confederate soldiers fought for the South. They lived like the Union soldiers, constantly practicing drills, keeping their uniforms in order, but hiding their weapons. The Confederates were called rebels or graybacks because their uniforms were gray wool. Like the Union soldiers, they had harnesses for their weapons. They were paid $10 a month. The Confederates carried a knapsack for personal belongings. You had to be at least 18 to enlist in the Confederate Army.
Union soldiers fought for the North. They also wore blue uniforms and were called Yankees. 360,000 Union soldiers were killed in the Civil War. And soldiers in their free time would write letters and would play card games. They would also gamble on chicken fighting and with cards. The Union soldiers would do drills like workouts, practice their aim, and practice different fighting tactics. The average age to join was 25 years old. They were paid $12 a month. African American soldiers were paid $10 a month. If you were rich, you could pay to not fight in the Civil War. And here we have a Union flag with 34 or to 36 stars. And here we have a sick soldier who died from his illness. Here's the hospital he was at. And here are the letters that he wrote to his mom. And here we have the heart attack and a Union soldier hat and what is it called? A capsack for the Union soldiers. Also, here is also a letter. A letter that was written by Longheart. The letter talks about he writes to his wife Janie. And it talks about how it is to be in the Civil War.
Over here on the Confederate side, we have the Confederate flag that they used. And over here, we have the battle flag. We have their uniforms, Confederate and Union. Then we have a Confederate hat here. We have a reenactment of a battle. And then on the way bottom, just sitting. And then right here, we have them training and marching.
We also have a letter by John E. Wilkins recorded. He recorded the daily routine of a Civil War soldier in the 11th Regiment.
Ms. Kaiser?
First of all, I loved your use of primary sources with your images. That's really fantastic. What was the favorite thing you learned working on these projects? What's one thing you learned or something interesting that you learned? Anybody can just jump in. Go ahead, honey.
Being able to use multiple resources to gather information on my topic.
Nice.
My favorite part was making this and learning about the Civil War.
Go ahead.
Very
Say
cool.
again? I can't hear. Nice, I like it.
I'm putting all the wood together.
Put it all work together. That's a lot of, it looks like you definitely did a lot of research.
So Civil War is a big thing that happened, right? So were you assigned these topics? Were you able to pick the topic that you wanted to do research on? Tell me about that. Go ahead.
We were able to pick 3 different topics that we would really want to work on, and then our teachers would pick one of the topics that we've chosen.
Okay, so you didn't double up on topics then, right? So top 3 you got to pick,
Mhm.
and you got one of those. Okay. Was there anything surprising when you were doing your research that you learned that you didn't know?
After the Battle of Bull Run, President Lincoln signed a bill that authorized 500,000 Union troops to join the Union Army.
Awesome. Anything else? Any other surprising facts that you guys learned when you're researching your topic?
This guy right here, we didn't know who he was until we researched. Yeah, he was a sick soldier that he would write letters to his mom and his mom would write back. And I'm surprised that we got a letter of the hospital he stayed at. That was very surprising.
Awesome. Other questions? Ms. Neal?
So a lot of times when we learn about stuff like this, how do you think what you learned about the Civil War, how do you think it applies today? What can you take from it? What do you think?
Can help us in middle school or high school with researching projects. We have a skill now on being able to research from different resources. Can also help with certain jobs like being a historian or an archaeologist.
Ms. Carr?
I'm interested in the t-shirts. Tell me about them.
Our teacher was fine. She got a cricket and she
I love it.
How to use it.
Love it, love it.
And she was able to stamp on these letters onto a shirt and we were able to wear them.
Are they your staff museum shirts?
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Love it.
So what about your event that's on Thursday? Your teacher mentioned that. So what
Oh.
is that?
We have a museum if you would like to come. Yeah, it's on Thursday, 11:30 to
1 to 2:45.
1 to 2:45.
$5.
1 to 2:45. Okay, and then you're gonna be talking about you'll be there available to talk about what you researched, and obviously there will be more students there as well with their projects. Awesome.
And if you want, you could buy a little thing from the. We're gonna have a shop.
Gift shop. Oh, I love it.
Cool.
Gift shop, eh? Okay, good to know. Mr. Becker?
So for that event, will you be presenting like this, or are people just going to be walking around and asking you questions at random?
People would be walking around going to different exhibits, asking what they are. That way you'd have to present.
That's kind of what I was thinking, and I just kept on thinking, I like that you guys all did some good stuff with your presentations, but whenever I see these things, I always like to sit and read. I'm the guy sitting there reading in the museum. So if we have time, I hope we can just walk around and just spend a few minutes looking up here. Will we have time for that? Okay.
From start to finish, how long did the project take? Would you guess?
About 2 days.
No.
Research
From the start of the unit. When did we start learning about the Civil War? I mean, that was
Like a
Over a
couple
month
months ago.
yeah.
I didn't-
Also.
I didn't buy into the 2 days.
Usually it's Thursdays.
Yeah. We also had a partnership with the Milwaukee Public Museum. They came in 3 times to work with the kids. The first time they brought in artifacts and specimens, and then the second time they actually brought in real Civil War artifacts,
Oh,
like
that's cool.
Wow.
Civil, 160-year-old flags and
Nice.
newspapers from the day Lincoln was shot, and like the
Wow.
kids were, like, we have a whole, we took a bunch of pictures and stuff, but, we'll show them at the museum.
Very
But
neat.
they're gonna come on that day too and display the artifacts.
Oh,
Wow.
Really exciting.
Do you guys happen to know what some of the other topics are that are going to be presented on Thursday?
There's there's a 54th Massachusetts. um, and
Sure, you guys can take turns. Yeah.
Great Tumbling is an exhibit.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
There's John Brown.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Very good.
nice.
Great. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Great. Oh, that's
There's
fantastic.
also one that's Jefferson Davis.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Can't forget that.
Oh,
Fantastic.
yeah, right? Fantastic. Great job, you guys.
Yeah, great work.
Very good. Yeah.
Well, let's give the students another round of applause. Sir Becker and any of us come up and like see the boards for a few minutes before you head out? Okay.
Yes.
Thursday. It's that is a
It's 11 to 1.
an invitation officially. Yeah, so I'm going to. What do you guys need? 7, 8. We have the.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you for coming
Thank
out.
Yeah, thank you. It was all really nice, really cool. I love it.
Let's know some possible questions.
Walker Elementary School. We have 3 teams for you today. I think we all believe that the people, especially the teachers and the kids, are what make Walker such an amazing place. So we brought a lot of them to share their work with you. So I'm not going to take up any more of your time, but I'm just going to introduce, this is Team Respect. They're going to give you a little demo about some American Sign Language that they've been learning in their classroom. And then we'll have Team Dream presenting on an Iditarod project connected to their grade level content and standards. And finally, we have Matt from Team Excellence that's going to talk to us about government. So thank you for having us. Good luck, Team Respect.
Team Respect, are you here?
We belong here. We matter.
Oh, I love it.
Hello, my name is Brooks. This year we have a. Hello, my name is Ronald. Hello, my name is Lula. Hello, my name is Brayden. This year we have a person who is deaf and a sign language interpreter. Our goal is to learn sign language. Here is a clip of us learning sight words and dance. helps us in phonics when we are blending words together. Or we play this fun game called Mystery Word. We'll demonstrate. It's the dog.
Nice job.
What's the mystery word?
It's not only fun, but we are learning important things. I can read sight words. I can blend in the beginning, middle, and ending sounds in words. Watch us do the alphabet in ASL. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sign with?
Right. What
Do you
question?
have any questions?
I didn't even think that.
Ms. Carr.
Can you show me how to say thank you?
Ms. Kaiser.
What's been your favorite sign you've learned for school?
Probably my name.
Kitty.
Oh, yeah.
We're saying kitty.
Yeah.
Our favorite.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I really use this sign every day. Every day. Morgan Huff. Our Oneida language teacher, the sign, and so it's like, that's how I've learned 90% of my Oneida words. And yeah.
Hello, my name is Aubrey. I'm in third grade and on team G.
Hi, my name is Philip, and I'm in third grade, and I'm in Team Dream. Hello, I'm Elias, and I'm in third grade, and I'm from Team Dream. Hi, I'm Mariah, and I'm in third grade from Team Dream. We can write for a variety of purposes and audiences. The writing we did is informational piece based on the white race of mercy of 1925. This is how the Iditarod today exists. At Walker School, each team picks a musher and learns about many different elements of racism. On Team Dream, we have chosen to take this into everyday learning in math, reading, and writing. Every year, the Iditarod changes routes. It is either the North Trail or the South Trail. We learned that weather in Alaska is extremely cold and snowy. This makes it challenging for the musher and the dogs. There are many checkpoints along the way to stop at. Make sure the dogs are able to continue the race. I can participate in collaborative conversations in small collaborative groups by listening, asking questions, sharing ideas, and building on ideas of others. We work together to research the Great Race of Mercy and the famous dogs. I can demonstrate my understanding of cause and event and in consideration of geography using relatable resources and reasoning. I can solve problems involving measurement and estimation of intervals of time, liquid volumes, and masses of objects.
So what did we do on the chart? Can you explain what you did on the chart comparing the data?
So we did the Great Race of Mercy and the 2024 I did one. Gunnar Casson, CV, and Matt Hall.
So explain who are those people?
Gunnar Casson was one of the mushers in the Great Race of Mercy. And he was the one and Balto and the other dogs to finish the race. To save the kids and parents of from diphtheria.
Okay, and who are Dallas CV and Matt Hall?
Dallas CV and Matt Hall are two mushers that raced in the 2024 I did a lot.
And what did you do with your days, times?
So we put it in days, hours, minutes, and seconds. We did the math for it.
All right, what did you do with your illustration?
So this illustration explains how Gunnar Payson was Payson was rushing Balto in the Great Race of Mercy.
And Balto and Togo, can you explain what happened?
And Balto and Togo were both Leonard Paula's dog, who is the real owner of Balto, but Balto achieved more fame for finishing the race off. Togo ran 91 miles while Balto only ran 53.
Tell about your history, the history of the Iditarod.
Read it. So I wrote about the history of the Iditarod. The first Iditarod race started in 1973 in Nome, Alaska. The race began because of the Great Race of Mercy, aka the Serum Run in 1925. The Mercy Race was a race proclaimed to save the lives of thousands of people in Nome, Alaska. Dr. Curtis Welch had been trying to save the lives of many people who had contracted diphtheria. Unfortunately, the doctor ran out of the serum that could save many people's lives. They had to come up with a different plan. The only chance that the serum can make it to Nome is by dog sled. No railways or roads to Nome. The train track closest to Nome was in Nenana. There were 20 relay dog sled teams that were willing to help. Gunnar Kaysen was the most famous musher of the Great Race of Mercy. Balto was a very famous dog because in the Great Race of Mercy, he ran the last rag. Because a musher thought he would come in the morning. Balto was actually not Gunnar Kaysen's dog. The owner of Balto was named Leonard Zapala. Leonard Zapala was good friends with Gunnar Kaysen, and they exchanged dogs with each other. The dogs they traded with each other were Balto and Toad. Gunnar Kaysen almost got lost in a blizzard, but thanks to Balto, he did not. Balto was the lead dog on the sled. While Gunnar was running, his sled tipped over. The serum fell off the sled. Gunnar Kaysen noticed that it was missing. He quickly searched the sled. He jumped off the sled. Thankfully, the sled was still in one piece. He held onto the harnesses of the dogs to make sure he did not get lost. Thankfully, he found the serum. Togo was also known to be a great lead dog. He led his team 91 miles to the next dog sled team in Golden. He and his team had some very rough times when they were racing. The weather condition was -30 and it felt like -85. And when they crossed Norton Sound, the ice broke. However, they all made it out safely. Gunnar and his team delivered the serum to Nome safely. Almost all of the people that attracted diphtheria had been healed because of the people and dogs who braved the severe weather. They persevered through many challenges and stayed strong, knowing they were helping many people. Thanks to Balto, Gunnar, and all the other dogs' lives were saved. This is why the Iditarod exists today.
And guys, what did the Iditarod, how did Walker School learn about the Iditarod? How did this subject come about at Walker?
Well, I don't know.
I like that we're rated honest.
What did we do every day?
We did like a question, and all the people who got it right would be like in a little raffle, and then a teacher would like get names and call the winners down like that. She picked them each day, and each of us chose an answer, and it was.
And what did each team do before the Iditarod started?
They picked a musher. Excellence chose Dallas CV, who won the Iditarod 6 times.
Oh. And who was our musher?
Our musher was Matt Hall, who was in 4th place last year and 2nd place this year.
Wow.
Awesome questions. Ms. Kaiser?
Do you think you'll continue following the Iditarod every year?
Yeah.
Now that you know all the superstars.
Yeah.
Do any of you want to become a musher?
Steele?
Sure. What was the most surprising thing you learned about being a musher?
That they use special language like P and G. Mush means go. Mush means go. I don't know what stop means. No, I think he is left and G is right.
Very good.
I have a question. Do you know what breed of dog Balto was?
Yes, he was a Siberian Husky. One side, the Iditarod had a rule. Well, they had a rule. They have this rule now, but there used to be any dog breed running. There could be poodles, but they stopped that because they wanted only northern breeds to go in the Iditarod. Conditions. Yeah.
Poodles aren't really made for the Arctic.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Barb?
I'd like to recommend a book to you to read. Have any of you heard the book Stone Fox?
Oh, I have. No, we
Wonderful book.
It has 5.
Yes.
It's an app we read and it has some.
It's got such a surprising ending, doesn't it? I highly suggest that you read that if you haven't read it, that you read it. It just reminded me a lot of the things that you shared with me. And it's a fiction story, and I think you'd all enjoy it. It's a good read aloud.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very
Nice
well
job.
Come sit right in the middle, Matt. I'll sit with you, okay? All right, while we're getting ready, fun fact about Matt is Matt is the same age as my son. And before I was the principal at Walker, I was Matt's hockey coach. So he's gonna talk to us about a project he did with Team Excellence about government. And these are all of his idea statements, so if we go to the next page, I think that's the one you're more comfortable with, yeah. Right, buddy, talk to us.
Okay, so first off, what our class did was we were studying all as a whole group at like our whole group conversations at my school with my class about different types of governments like anarchies and dictatorships. And then we were told to make a project or a presentation about the different types of governments that there are in the world besides democracies, which we have in the US. We were also giving each other a lot of feedback at the end of it too. Like we kept going one-on-ones with other people from my class. One of my favorite parts about this project that we ended up doing was learning about the different huge types of governments that are found all over the world besides democracies. We were also able to learn like judicial branches, executive branches, and legislative branches, but also governments at the state level, local level, and federal level. This. And here's my slideshow about government.
Can you tell us your favorite slide, Matt?
Probably my dictatorship slide.
Why is that?
I don't know.
What about it?
That's my favorite part about it.
Yeah.
Why? My favorite part about it was that like we got to study different ones on our own because we were learning about like the bigger ones or like more popular ones like anarchies and like theocracies and stuff. But they decided that we can research anything that we wanted for our slides. So I decided to learn about dictatorships.
Would you want to share that?
Sure. What is a dictatorship? A dictatorship is a type of government that is most likely the strictest type of government. Dictators are very mean and people can only follow demands by the dictator. If they don't follow the rules, they could have life penalties where they could possibly go to jail for a long time or possibly even death. A dictator could also give some dictatorships. There is a lot of totalitarianism. When the dictator demands something, you can't just start crying or doing anything that you want, like acting out, because that could get you a lifetime penalty. 3 very well-known dictators are in China, Venezuela, and Germany. Any questions?
Questions from the board?
I'd say since you picked a dictatorship, like what about that was interesting to you? Like why did you pick that over another one to specialize in?
The dictatorship was something that I've been like learning throughout like different grades and stuff. So I feel like besides democracies, that's a pretty cool thing for me to learn about.
I like your slideshow. It's really well laid out and put together, which
Thank you.
not a lot of people know how to do that. So good job on that.
Yes.
So how did you collect your information? What was your process?
So at first, like we usually meet at like our carpet, and our teachers put like on a different videos from like Generation Genius or something, and we would have to watch the video and like we'd have to fill out like sorts of quizzes where we'd have to find the answers from the video.
So when are you gonna run for office? Or you just gonna have a dictatorship?
I'm never gonna run for office.
Very well said for being living up here with your.
But he would be great at it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing.
Very well.
So you want them here?
Your computer. Would you help the ladies connect to that? Yeah, yeah. And then I'm just gonna set up.
All right.
Yeah. We can kill this.
Who won this year by dinner off? One is.
Sign. Right here.
Yeah, it's 938 files. And what's really important about that, you're right.
And I've never heard
No, there.
Actually, like part of like. Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Tell you.
I'm horrified.
So you guys will have to be in the center.
This is being recorded.
Or do you want to present?
Well, there's someone here.
It looks like it's. Does that make more sense?
Well, I love this part
Yeah, no,
online.
Have either side of the table. That was. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, when you think about like the old cons, I don't believe it's. I think fetches that have a.
Yeah.
Armrest in the middle. Yeah. It's sort of in the idea where they just stop.
Oh, I get it. Yes.
You want any of the.
And then I'm gonna put,
Yeah. They go with that.
yeah, I'm gonna move. Put this on next. We got both. But this here. And, yeah.
First woman doing that, I was born.
Yeah.
Wisconsin, Florida.
Oh, yeah.
And then we do Alaska.
Then just a little bit so the girls can get on either side of the table. For the presentation. Yeah. Perfect. See this.
There's some.
Yeah.
Honestly, my students are learning that when they look at the club, which is kind of. The thing is.
Great catch.
Yeah. First grade.
Well done.
We're teaching, we are doing. Like,
You start with slideshow.
you know, these kids.
Yeah.
Oh, just. All I go get the school autographs of this.
Cool. All right.
All right, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Yeah, all right, we good? All right, well,
Yeah.
thank you for having us. All right, and in the transition here. Today we come from Nathan Hale. Mary Washbush is our academic dean or deeper learning coach. Is it's new receiving the name. Matt Lugo is the Flex 9 teacher representative out of that community where the project was created. And we have Jane Daly and Lillian Sloss with us today to talk through a project. But before I do that and turn it over, I just wanted to say this would be the least amount I think I've ever talked at more than. So, you know, in our school improvement plans, we all focus on the content and the deeper learning competencies. We have an ACT prong that we focus on. We're in that testing mode right now. In addition to that, we focus on our deeper learning competencies of communications, collaboration, being self-directed, having an academic mindset, critical thinking, and we want to integrate that in as much as possible into our activities. And some teams take it more to a high level where there's these bigger projects where students are working in teams and creating some real world solutions to things that are posed. And this is one of those such groups that we're bringing forward today to talk about that. Our commitment as every student graduates from high school is not only content mastery, but all those other competencies as well to produce, you know, well-rounded students and individuals. So I don't know if you want to say anything before we pass it off as the teacher, and then we'll get into it.
Yeah.
He'll talk a little bit about the project and turn it over and let the kids go from there.
Right. Hi, I'll say just a couple of words. So this project lasted over a quarter and a half. And we had a great partnership with UWM, our service learners from Architecture 302, Human Centered Design. So they worked as mentors with our students. So they prepped them for their design jury POL. And then on, I believe it was February 16th, we had our design jury. We invited some of the members of the board came. We had the museum directors from our Franklin Wright Burner blog. We had Learn Deep Milwaukee representatives who facilitated the partnership between UWM and Nathan Hale. We also had the mayor, we had Gandabai, the alders, and a lot of parents, and we invited the 9th and 10th graders. We had over 250 people in the auction and all grading and assessing their projects. And then from there, we picked best design, best model, best design board. You guys won best design board in our design competition, yeah. And best presentation and so on. And then we had a business community partners, Chick-fil-A, that, you know, is just close by to Hale. They donated $125 for lunch for the winners of the contest. So, you know, so many partnerships were made, and we're just proud of the work they've done. Yeah.
So for our project, we had to solve the affordable housing crisis in Milwaukee, which, like, people cannot afford houses like safely anymore. With this design, we decided to retake FLW's old like model housing and repurpose it into more of a economical and safe and affordable way for people of like lower, higher or average income to be able to afford a house again. We had early in the year in like October, we had we had a field trip to the Burnham Block and a bunch of different places around downtown. And we were able to see FLW's actual houses come to life and whatnot. And then we were also one of the groups who were able to go to the teacher conference and present there. And so we were able to collect more information and data for our houses.
The location we chose to focus on to introduce our affordable housing to is the old Freighter Malting Company lot. It's South 80th and West Grant. But the benefits of the location would be it's near the shopping centers and a bunch of restaurants. So it's way to like get out there in the city. And it would be a nice place to redevelop into an affordable housing area. Needs of our new house, which we focus on the Elizabeth Murphy house, was we changed old kitchen appliances to more modern ones to focus on like our actual needs for food and all that good stuff. And changes that we made to the house is the price is now $78,000 for a 2-bedroom house, which is a lot different from how it is now. The living room and kitchen and bathroom were changed for modern needs like TVs and appliances. And one area we wanted to focus on also was the sitting area in our living room. It's separate from the actual living room with a TV because Franklin Wright believed that that was the hearth of the house by a fireplace. And yeah.
Some of the learning standards we had to master were communication, problem solving, and being able to direct ourselves by like independently throughout the project. And we were able to figure out how to put together this model, how to like what programs to use, what materials that we could use to make it cheaper and lower. And for our learning skills, we were able to incorporate every single one of our like main core base classes into the project. So for instance, like ELA, we had to write an argumentative essay and we were able to argue the point on why our house is the best and should be able to like be put on the market. In math, we were able to create like a full layout and like blueprint and using like different measurements and converting like the sizes and walls and whatnot. In social studies and biology is where we had to study like the history of Milwaukee and all the parts like going into it, for instance, like redlining and equity. And then in biology, we were able to research like more safer ways for prices to be brought down, for instance, like using solar panels instead of just having regular electricity and switching to LED lights so they last longer and don't cause like harmful UV rays to affect.
Oh, sorry. My favorite part of this project was making the house because you could really put a house together to see like how people will live in it and making the design board to focus on like fabrics and colors and just like the whole thing.
My favorite part of this project was being able to take like a deeper dive into FLW's work and how we could make Milwaukee a more affordable place to live in. I enjoyed writing down the argumentative essay and being able to just help out wherever I can with this.
We were also supposed to look into careers of how we like what we would like to do when we're older while focusing on this project. And my choice would have to be architecture or interior designing because just like making the house, like the changes and adding the furniture, it's all like it brings it together. That's how a house is a house.
I would have to say that my like future job, if I had to choose one in the place of architecture and whatnot, would have to be like an architectural manager and making sure that everything's going along smoothly instead of just like letting everyone go willy-nilly doing whatever.
I don't know. I think we're all done.
Oh, Lily, could you tell the board how you made your digital model? I think it's a really cool program that you did. It's kind of out of the box.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure you guys all know what Roblox is.
Yeah.
So on Roblox, there's many games, and one of the games is called Bloxburg. And Bloxburg is a game where you can build houses and also work for the money. So it's not like you're just getting the money to build. You actually have to work for it. There's bills, so
Yeah.
learn a little bit from that.
I just want to say this is really beautiful in the way that not only did you find a way to have costs go lower and you modernize it with solar and all that stuff, but it's also a beautiful home. There's this misconception out there, I think, that just because you can't afford a house doesn't mean you should have a nice house. And I think what's beautiful about this is the affordability and the like tangible nature of this. I mean, honestly, I had to start bulldozing and start building because I mean, I think these are my students just learn about waterfall or falling waters. So I could definitely see how like all this fits into where we are here, and it's beautiful.
And I once gorgeous.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was also other options of how to make the house. Like our classmates, some of the classmates made 3D models, but usually like now people would use a virtual program to make a house. So we stuck more to the virtual instead of making a 3D model.
Oh, those are from other students. Those are.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask you about them. Okay.
Yeah, to just show you. This one right here was done with Jenny Neighbor. We used our new glow forge. So all of these sides of the home were, they did the scale drawing, they transferred that to Google Slides. And then Ms. Neighbor was able to send it through to the glow forge and have it all laser cut. And then Ariel's team simply glued it together. And they had a professional looking model that you would see from any, architectural firm.
Absolutely.
And then we had another team that wanted to, they were inspired by the Museum of Modern Art. They're conserving St. Mark's Tower, one of FLW's models that he toured around the country with. So they saw how intricate, how we did like all the furniture and everything else to, just flowers. And they went all out and they did this entire.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Every little detail, just like St. Mark's Tower, just like FLW did.
Wow.
Window treatments, they just got so into it and they were laser focused. I just saw Athena with her hot glue gun and X-Acto knife, and they were just in the zone. That was really cool to witness.
Oh, here's.
throughout that project. And then we had a Hale alum from 2009, Anthony Leonardelli, we got a contact. And so we zoomed in with our classes and talked about what it's like to be an architect in the field.
Yeah.
And we met him on our field trip by chance and he gave us his business card. So it was a good connection. And then he was also a guest design juror and helped to assess the students' projects. And I think the best compliment at all was from Anthony, and he said, Marino, this is what a project I did as a sophomore in college.
Wow.
How you're getting ninth graders to do it.
Wow.
That's
That's
amazing.
incredible.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's great.
And I guess I would follow up and say too, that, part of the strategic plan is, is the content, the deeper learning competency, but integrating in the presentations of learning. People have to be able to stand it. This is a little nerve wracking, right? They would stand in front of
It's like Shark Tank.
So, I mean, so, and you don't get better at it by not practicing it, so we're trying to integrate that within the school. To support that part of the strategic plan, you have to practice it, guys. You're gonna make more free throws, you have to practice your free throws. You don't get better by watching someone practice free throws. So, they work in teams, they present to each other, they presented in the gymnasium, they got down to the conference, they're here before you, and those are all experiences we want to give all kids, which is part of our strategic plan in the district. And then also building that into their online portfolios. Because then they can take pictures of this, upload it, reflect on their learning, so it all kind of comes together in this, all the work we're doing at the district.
And we had our design jury covered by CBS 58. If you click on the link and you watch the news story. So that was great, positive PR for Nathan Hale. And, it's great to have that as an experience. You'll never forget it. And we listened to what you guys said when we did, a similar, I remember Jane was there and Brendan and Noah, when you went table to table and you asked us like, hey, I didn't know about this. Like, I want to know. So that's where we decided to blow that presentation, that design jury up and invite as many people as we could. And the 9th and the 10th graders who had it the last 2 years. So it was amazing seeing the 9th and 10th grade saying like, these really, it was better than ours. It was like that. It's better seeing this us. So that we built that community through the 3 years that we've done it.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Great work.
And my big question, you had a question, because my big thing is that in the end, when you're doing a project like this, you have to be learning something while you're doing it.
Yeah.
So my question to all the groups is, like, tell me about the content you're learning, while you're doing the thing that worked on communication, collaboration, et cetera, and they were all able to speak to the standards and for the best kind of package you got there. Go ahead.
That's what I was gonna ask. So I think like Mrs. Kaiser said, I think the layout's really beautiful. Like your feel for space and color and all that stuff is really nice. It's really well laid out. And like the blueprint is really good looking too. So I'm curious, what was the most difficult part for the two of you?
It probably was communication, because unfortunately, like, one of our teammates was like out sick a lot. So, but we were able to communicate with her and be able to get the project done in an efficient manner and still be able to have something that's worth presenting.
Yep, that doesn't go away.
It's a skill to work around. Skill to have to be able to work around it. If you were to turn around and do it all over again tomorrow, what would be like one thing you would change or want to do differently or whatever?
Probably making a 3D model. It
Okay.
seemed like it really bothered Lester today. He was talking to this.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, he just didn't do that one.
Okay.
Any other questions? It's amazing work.
Yeah.
Good job.
That's phenomenal.
Well, I think it's a
You
really.
can design my next house.
It's an important problem,
Yeah.
and it's a problem that's only gonna get worse. There's, when neighborhoods first started, there was lots of land to move into, and that has stopped. So, but other than building up, you have to have other opportunities. And so I think that's a good thing and a good strategy. And I hope that maybe some builders will look at that and take that into account when we are looking at our next developments that might be having. So kudos on the work. And thank you for coming here and presenting to us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you both very much. Nice work.
showing out that learning in a different way. So you'll be able to hear that, how they show out that through their presentations tonight. So Jose is gonna start and then Ari's gonna go after. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jose. And this is my Algebra 2 project. So our project was about the life of trees. In where our teacher would have a base tree with like a set amount of like stats and numbers. And we would have to find a tree, like a different one, research it, and then use inequalities and like solutions to graph and use various methods to figure out like how tall our trees would be in like a set amount of time. So we used the substitution method, the graphing method, the elimination method. And we used all those and put them on a graph, designed it, which you can see I very creatively used like a pun for it, but you know. But in all honesty, I was very nervous about this and coming out to you guys here to present. But that's the thing with Dottke is that it's all about like the projects and presenting. And we've done this like 2 times a year for like every school year. So all in all, you get like used to it after a while. So very encouraging and very like enriching for the students who come here.
Can you talk about your reflection?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But back to my math problems. I was very nervous about actually doing the math. Because in all honesty, I don't think I'm very good at math. But sometimes I surprise myself. And other students sometimes surprise themselves too. And that's a very consistent thing with the students that come here at Dottke. And you know, I kind of ran out of like nice things to say. I'm so sorry. But in all honesty, because I just laid down the groundwork for a very good school.
Well, Jose, let's go to Ari and then the board will ask questions to both of you. How about that?
All right,
Sound good?
yeah, that works.
Okay, go ahead, Ari.
Okay, hi, my name is Ariana. I'm a big talker, so. Yeah, so the whole project is for my mythology class and we had to either make a god or goddess based on more modern causes. So my first goddess, which is Adva, she was the goddess of ocean animals and her role is to like teach people balance. Because her whole life growing up, she grew a lot of anger because she was created by an unknown god. She doesn't know who her parents were. She doesn't know where she's from. So she had a really hard time growing up in her life, like finding something about herself. So fun fact about her, she's created by the ocean, salt water, and her heart is like the ocean floor. So she's quite literally the ocean. So in her story, she had to find like in every, okay, so sorry. In Greek mythology, all like the gods have to have a problem, you could say, and learn to live by it. So in her story, she had to learn how to live with her anger and how to overcome all of this. So in her story, she fell in love with a mortal and she got betrayed by him and she ended up her heart was so damaged at this point with all the anger and the heartbreak. Her heart broke, but not knowing that the ocean floor is also her heart. So the ocean floor broke, creating a big tsunami. And it has a good heart for innocent people. So not only killed her lover, but it killed a bunch of innocent people. So this is her breaking point where she was like, I need to have a balance with my anger. And from personal experience from my friends, they have a lot of anger and sadness that they have built up and they don't know how to deal with it. So this is a story mainly inspired by them because I want to really spread awareness that we need to have some sort of balance instead of just exploding one of these days. So my next goddess is the Mali. She's, as you can see, a clown. She, her whole story is longer, but her thing is she's a goddess of outcasts. And this really hits home because, so she's really inspired by the Disney movie, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and that whole aesthetic. That movie is about outcasts.
And I have a really, really big heart for people that are different, people that get bullied because they're different. So in her story, she represents like having emotions really, because in her story, she's always happy. She doesn't know what anger is. She doesn't know what sadness is. She doesn't know anything. And she's just so happy. But it comes to a point where she cannot just be happy all the time. She thought she was doing good by tormenting the bullies, you know, being the bigger bully to them so they would stop. And it was working, but not in a good way. So she found a friend who was like her, an outcast, and they become friends, but she ends up becoming. So wait, I'm so sorry. This is a very big detail. Her whole powers are illusions. So she has a power to manipulate, not basically manipulate you with like illusions. Makes you see what she wants you to see. So she found a friend, you know, she's like the only friend she's ever had. But the friend realizes, you know, you need to stop tormenting these people because, you know, you're stopping the bullying, but not in a good way. You're basically the bigger bully in the story. And the Melody is just so stuck up in her way. She's like, no, I'm helping these people. So in her story, the friend ends up jumping off a cliff to show her, maybe this will show you what emotions are. You know, she jumps off because she loves her friend, but she realizes it was her own illusion. She created her own illusion and manipulated herself to teach herself how to have emotion. So this is the first time she's cried, the first time she's felt fear. So in her story, it's showing people it's okay to have emotion. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be scared sometimes. And so I made masks for her representing all her different like emotions. And for Adva, I made the jewelry piece, which represents like the ocean gifts, like pearls and shells and all that stuff. So that is my big project.
Very cool. Did you draw those images?
Yeah, I drew, well, for those two are the originals with the colors and stuff. So
Wow.
I can hold them up if you would like, but
I'll say after them when I asked to come look at all of it again.
Yeah, we'll come around and look.
okay.
What other questions? Yeah.
Go.
But for the mythology, which myth did you read? Well, like as far as like a classical myth, which one did you read that you connected with the most? Like was there something that inspired these?
It was mainly most like real life inspiration. I read the story of Leto, the goddess Leto, and her story with Zeus and Hera, and that kind of inspired a little bit of it. Like I wanted a woman's rage in Adva because she was the original one. I did the Mami in like 2 weeks because I came up with the idea of the outcast, and I have a big heart for that. But what's her name? Leto is definitely one of my favorite mythology stories, along with Medusa, of course. And they had a big inspiration for these.
Thanks.
Can you tell us more about the charting you did so it was on different trees and how they grow within a certain time frame? Understand that correct?
Yes.
Can you tell me more about that? Like, what did you find surprising?
So it turns out because every like student had like the same base tree, which was our teachers, which had like a set amount of like stats and had the equation already figured out.
Okay.
So when we chose our tree, we were unaware of how big it would be.
Okay, gotcha.
So sometimes it would be like, oh, this tree can only grow like a certain height. Or it can grow like twice or maybe even 3 times the size of our teacher's tree. My tree could only grow up to 5 feet.
Okay.
Our teacher's tree could probably grow up like double that. So kind of like, I wouldn't want to say embarrassing, but it was like, I really wanted it to be bigger.
And can you let us know what grade you are in?
11th.
Also 11.
Oh, wow. What do you hope to, like for next year, or like for June, are you already thinking about what else you gotta do or what more you could or something else?
Probably maybe like, honestly, I have no idea. I think I did really good with this.
You got the top it though now.
Yeah, I guess that's it. I gotta just top it.
Nice job.
I think time management is a big thing for me. The story, I finished it the day of I presented it. So I was rushing. I wish I had more time to really, because these are just the whole story, but it just gets to the point. So I really wish I could actually write it out like a book, you could say, and have people read it, like give it to them and have them read it. But for now, I think for the time I had, I think I did a pretty decent job for the little time I had.
Yeah, definitely.
So you said, I'm sorry, I just wanted to clarify. Jose, you said you made that graphic back there, but
Yeah.
okay,
Oh,
so that's your tree. It was the tuxedo with Jella.
Wygella, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Well, the image is the tree. I just stole like clip art of a man in a tuxedo.
Could I have like the big thing I think is very important about Dottke is that even in like the projects that we have, we do a lot of research within the project. So for mine, it's for example, I had to just create a story about a guy, right? But I really put in so much detail about learning cultures too, because Agua is in the islands and the mountain, I don't even know where she's from, but I had to really research about what those cultures do and what like how to really design them because they're inspired by other designs, but I really did design how they look, how tall they are, their strengths and yada yada. So I think that's fun about Dottke is that even in the projects we're doing much more. So this one's jewelry making, art making, story making, design making. It's a bunch in just one thing. So you're really doing more than what they tell you, you could say. I think that's a pretty interesting thing about Dottke in general than like regular schools, you could say.
If I wanted to add on that, it's essentially basically like they give you credits for, English, math, business, but you don't really do like normal things. Like you get a physical education credit for fixing bikes or biking around. And that could count towards your physical education credits. You could learn about taxes and stuff, and that could count towards business. You could just do math. If you wanted to go that route in the future. You could learn about American history or the US government and how that works. Like with the election season coming up, I'm actually in a US government class. I didn't choose like how that works, but I'm in a US government class for that. And right now we're learning about, how media works, how misinformation gets around. And it's really interesting. And I don't think I'd learned that much if I was in like a normal school.
I do think it's always, I'm sorry, it's me, but anyways, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We already started. So actually, with your last comment. With you doing all the extra things that go into your projects, what do you think is the most important skill that is a side skill that you hold in and you think is going to carry you forward? Because, obviously you have the skills that you did for this specific presentation. But what other like hidden skill did you develop that you had to work through and you think will be beneficial to you in the future?
For me personally, and I don't speak for you, Ari.
Yes, you're good.
But for me, it was probably presentation. Because when we present these like graphs to like other students, usually I'm not the most talkative. And you can tell because I'm still wearing a mask in 2024. But yeah, I'm not usually like the most talkative kid, and I definitely wasn't during the start of the school year. But these projects have really helped me like open up. And I think I can see that because I'm standing in front of like the whole school, like people running the school district. So I think I've come a long way.
Thank you to be super proud of yourself.
Absolutely. Did you say?
Thank you, doing a fantastic job.
Wow.
Jose had shared before we went, were you going to say it?
You can say it.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
He had said, he was like, I want to go first because that'll push me out of my comfort zone.
Oh,
That's
that's
good.
good.
That's good.
That's awesome.
Bravo. That's amazing.
Thank you.
I think for me, it's big, is confidence and my presentations, like you said, like speaking to strangers, because when we do these exhibition nights, so many random people you've never seen before are just coming in, wanting to listen to you, and you have to really build up the confidence to talk to them with your voice, talk to them about your project, why you're passionate about it. And when I remember the first time I did it was freshman year, it was the second exhibition night. It was a very, I actually don't even know what I did, but I think it was very personal, I think, but it was very scary. I was very quiet. I didn't really know how to speak. I was stuttering a lot. But now that I've been doing it for so long, it really pushed me out of my comfort zone again. And my tone and how I explain things are definitely way better than what they were before. And it just shows people my passion because I'm a big writer, a big art person, jewelry person. It just really shows my passion and me having the confidence to tell people that really pushes me out of my comfort zone. It definitely taught me how to speak normally, you could say, without stuttering so much.
Great. Well, let's give them a round. Yeah. We have just like a few minutes to look at all the amazing work you did and then we'll swap out.
letting us come and share some of the stuff we've been doing with all of you. And thank you personally know my name is Debbie Smith, so I'm the school leader at the Learning Virtual Academy. 2 times a year, we have an in-person event, so it's a big opportunity for kids who would like to be in person to come in person, but it's optional because we do also run this event exactly the same way in a virtual way as well. So the whole school participates. It just is up to the students if they'd like to come in or not. Generally, it's about 2 days. And the second day, we do our presentations of learning, which are open to the public. So this school year, our first in-person event was a day with the arts. I'm gonna let Melissa tell you a little bit about the curriculum because she, co-wrote the curriculum. So we'll give her a chance to explain it, and then we'll let the students talk about their work with all of you. Thank you.
I actually don't really want to say very much at all because they worked hard to be able to tell you what they did. So I'll just say that these are 2 of our middle school students. Fabulous artists and great kids, work really well collaboratively with others. And that's what chose them to come to talk about their work today.
Hi, I'm Dalila. I'm in 7th grade at DLVA. I've explored the Milwaukee Art Museum since I can remember. I have always been fascinated in Roy Lichtenstein. He is a pop artist. I was and am fascinated in Lichtenstein's techniques and the colors that made his art a story. Some of the I can statements for art are, I can explore different art making tools and materials. The related standard is investigate and expand knowledge of studio, skills, techniques, materials, tools, and elements, and principles of art and design. I can practice art skills to refine technique. The related standard, engage in experimentation with the expressive qualities of media, tools, and techniques with refined craftsmanship. I can create original work of art that conveys a message. Related standard, convey meaning and intent through the presentation of personal, historical, and contemporary work and formulation of exhibition narratives. During this project, we corrected our problems, made mistakes, and revised pieces of art. These skills are used in situations out of school and in school. This project has taught me and many others how to fix a mistake and not give up. Several tasks that include working for an extended period of time, solving an amount of complex questions, and trying new things can connect to our learning and improve our problem-solving techniques. Thinking of my project, I'd say some of my successes were considering new ideas, looking for ways to improve my art, telling a unique story with my art, and bringing out the artist technique. For example, I hope you guys know the art called The Crying Girl. I did my own retake on this art and made a pop water bottle, drip a girl crying about all the world's insecurities and problems that are happening in this world. She is crying for all mistakes and conflicts that are happening right now. At some points, this project had some obstacles, particularly fixing minor mistakes, mixing colors, and drawing. I overcame these obstacles by planning out my work, working on another piece while waiting for my drawing to dry, brainstorming before fixing a mistake, and reminding myself to keep going. If I required help, I would try to fix the issue by myself and then approach a teacher. I learned that I can come up with a variety of unique ideas to showcase them in art. Hi, I'm Serena. I'm in 6th grade at DLVA. We went to the Milwaukee Art Museum and I was inspired by Laura Owens. I liked how she includes lots of animals and has interesting perspectives. The I can statements for English language arts are I can write for a variety of purposes and audiences. Related, standard, composed, reflective, formal, and creative writing, which may happen simultaneously or independently for a variety of high statements or high or low statements purposes. I can use my
feedback from peers and adults to improve my writing, creating and speaking related standards. With some guidance and support from peers and adults, develop and strengthen writing as needed by planning and revising, editing, rewriting, or trying a new approach. This connects to our learning by problem solving and using others' feedback to improve our work. This project helped us overcome challenges and help us learn from our mistakes. My successes were getting inspiration for my project and being able to fix my mistakes. I struggled with making my tree. It wasn't very sturdy and couldn't hold up my power. I overcame my struggles by finding different ways to fix my tree when it wasn't sturdy enough to hold my owl. I learned that there's lots of different ways to fix your problems and make it turn mistakes into something better.
Yeah, thank you. Wow.
Questions from the board? Ms. Carr.
I think mine is more of a comment, and I think that your presentations were so polished. And that tells me that this was not the first time that you've done this. You really practiced. You really thought about what you were going to write, what you were going to draw. I noticed that you talked a lot about doing different iterations of them and then going back and getting feedback and checking. And that really shows, so that by the time you got here before us, you had done so much behind the scenes.
Yes.
And I think it was well worth it because it was just a lovely presentation.
Thank you.
Other questions or comments from the board? Mr. Becker?
I was gonna say, are all the works before us, is this just the two of you, or is this, are there other works from other kids here today?
It's just the two of us.
Just the two of us here, but many kids back at DLVA when we did the in-person and also it's like online, they all did a fantastic and amazing job.
Thanks. Skizer?
Are you inspired to learn about other artists and maybe try to also emulate what they do?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ms. Steele?
I just have so you guys went to the art museum, so did you guys do that actually as a class down in the art museum, or did you go separately, or how did you do that?
As a class.
Yes,
For a school trip.
At a school?
Yeah.
Oh, that's like a hall, that's.
Other questions?
Can we take a peek and come up and take a look at? I would love to.
So that was our last.
Yeah.
So I just want to say, I want to thank all the students that came here to present to us. Presenting, public speaking, presenting in public is a difficult thing to do in general, and it's even made more difficult to do in front of us. And I think we're gonna have friendly faces, but I can see it being intimidating. So just a warm round of applause for everyone who came here, participated. Thank you. I know that not all of us have the ability to get into school buildings during the school day to be able to see what's going on. So it is always nice to be able to have them come here and visit with us for a little while.
Thank you.
Bye.
And thank you to the staff who take the time, I know, to figure out what they're going to present to the board and make sure that it's something that is a representative of them, and the parents for supporting the students who are able to come here on evening. I know it can be a tricky thing sometimes that you need to be able to work in. So I do want to thank all of our parents as well for taking the time out of the day to come and speak with us. Is there anything else that you wanted to mention, Ms. Barrage?
No, I'm just excited for the next one. We'll have our final round of student showcases on April 15th. So
April 15th, we have 5 more or
we have 6 that.
6 that day? Okay.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
So anything else from the board? Or I'd look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.